up and welcome back to the Radiant Rangs. This is Kausar Ali and today it's a new day, which means a new video. Firstly, I want to thank each and every subscriber and viewer for your amazing support by believing in our work and our channel. This encourages me to make more such ones and also show you Eliza's different ways of learning. I am also glad you all are showing interest in helping us share our learning. Secondly, yes, we are not going as per our usual routine of posting our videos. This is only because I have my exams coming up and I'm busy with the preps of it. But don't you all worry, because once I'm done, we'll be back in full swing, I promise. Also, please do follow our page on Instagram, as we do post all our updates with Eliza's new activities and learnings there regularly. Also, please subscribe to our channel. So like as I said, my exams are coming up and I have been trying my best to work out ways to be easier and quicker to solve my problems, especially in the subject mathematics. And that's a hint for our video. I came up with a few tricks and tips. So I thought, why not I share them with all of you? So when your exams come up, it'll make it more simpler. This will surely help doing your math quicker. Also, I'm going to show you multiplication, but in 3 different ways. Yes, you all heard that right. In 3 different ways. So you can choose which way is more simpler for you, understand, and you can use it. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Ding ding. So everybody, the 3 multiplication ways that I'm going to be showing you are fairly simple. The first one I'm going to be teaching you is called area modeling. Have any of you heard of area modeling before? I love to use this method when I do my maths equations, and in my opinion, it is very simple to do. So before we get into multiplying, I have some 4 simple steps that I can show you. The first one is split the numbers. Then the second one is to draw a box. When we get up to that stage, I'll show you what I mean by drawing a box. Then the third step is to times the numbers. And again, I'll get up to that part. Then the last step is to add the numbers. And once again, I'll get up to that part when we get to it. Now that we've done the 4 steps that you can use before you start, let's think of 2 numbers that we can multiply. Let's take, suppose, 63 and maybe 48. Yeah, those are good numbers. So the equation reads 63 times 48. Now what's the first step? It says split, right? So what I mean by split is the numbers. We have to split the numbers, like in the split strategy. So how can we split 63? Well, the most easiest one is 60 and 3. And when we split them, get it close to the tens with a number that ends in a 0, because that makes it more simple when we are going to be doing the multiplication. And then whatever's left over from that number, just add it on, because 63 minus 60 is 3, and that's the remaining number, so 60 and 3. Then with 48, we can do the same thing. So 48 split is 40 and 8, because 40 plus 8 equals 48. So those are numbers split, and we can give number 1 a big tick. Now number 2 is to draw a box. When I say to draw a box, I don't just mean any old box. You know when you do two-way tables and you do that information? Yeah, that's the type of box I'm talking about. So let's draw that. Well, we're not going to be doing the two-way table, but that's a sort of box we'll be using. And make sure you draw the columns too, to make it more like the graph. Okay, so the first box in the left-hand corner, we won't be needing it, so we can just shade that in. Then we have the remaining squares, right? So on the first column, underneath that shaded box, we can write the split numbers of 60 and 3. So we can write 60 and 3. So we wrote 60, below that we can write 3, because 60 plus 3 equals 63. Now on the top row, next to the shaded box, we can write the split numbers of 48. And that's 40 and 8. You could change the positions of the numbers if you want. So 48 going down, 60 and 3 going right. But that's up to you. It doesn't really matter. So now, what do we have to do? Well, what I mean by times the numbers, we have to times the numbers that were split. So 60 and 3 and 40 and 8. So we have to times all of those numbers, each and every one. So to get the number below 40 or next to 60, all we have to do is times 60 by 40. We finished the box, so we can give that a tick. So 60 times 40, what does that equal? Well, 6 times 4 is 24. And there's 1 0 after 60 and 1 0 after 40. So 2 zeros, we write that after. So 60 times 40 is 2,400. Now we have to do 40 times 30 to get the number below 4,000. So next is 3 into 40 to get the number below 2,400. 4 times 3 is 12, and there's a 0 after the number 4, so we can just add that on. So now we have 120. Now to get the numbers below 8, we have to times 60 by 8, and then 3 times 8. So 60 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. And there's a 0 next to the number 6, so we can add that on to get 480. Then last but not least, to get the number next to 120, all we have to do is 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is a simple 24. So now we have all those numbers, right? The last step is to add, but what do we add? The numbers that we just wrote right now. So 2,400 plus 120 plus 480, and then last but not least, 24. So when we do add those numbers, for the units one, we get 4, because 4 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 2 is 12, carry the 1 over. Then that's a total of 10, so 0 carry the 1. And then 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 3. Boom, we got our answers, 3,024. Whoa, that was a lot of working out, right? But again, it's quite easy once you get the hang of it. And then we get your final answer. So that means for the area modeling, 63 times 48 equals a large 3,024. And that's basically how area modeling goes. So first you have to split the numbers of the equation that we wrote, so 63 times 48. Then we have to draw the box, which is technically a two-way column graph. Then we have to times the numbers, 60 times 40, 3 times 40, 60 times 8, 3 times 8. And then last but not least, add those numbers that we times, and there we go, we get our answer. So the second way of quick multiplication I'll be showing you, my fellow friends. It is called cross multiplication. What is cross multiplication? Well, you know how you do the normal way of multiplying two-digit numbers and two-digit numbers downwards? It's basically like that, but the short version and not the long version that you do. So let's pick the same numbers as we did for area modeling. And the numbers were 63 times 48, but this time we'll write it downwards. times 48. So basically, I'll pick the same numbers and do the process and get the same answer, but in a different form of multiplication. So what do we have to do? Well, first, why don't we draw dots as numerals so we know what numbers to multiply, and then we can simply get our answer. So we'll be having, well, as you can see, there are four numbers, 6, 4, 8, 3. So we'll be drawing four dots. And not only we'll be doing one of them, but we'll be doing three sets of them. So 4 dots, 4 dots, and 4 dots. And then we'll get into the multiplication. Second set. And the last set. So for the first part, to get our answers of the units digits, like you would normally do when you do the normal multiplication, all we have to do, so we'll go to the first set. To get the units answer, we first have to do the units of the top number, units of the bottom number to get our units answer. And we can just draw a line connecting them, so when we multiply, we'll know what numbers to multiply exactly. Then, to get the tens part of our answer, this is going to get a little bit tricky, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it'll get more and more simple. So what we have to do, first, so we have to multiply four numbers. So first we have to do for the top number, we have to times the tens number, by the units of the bottom number. So it's basically like a diagonal line. And then same for the other way. So units of the top number times the tens of the bottom number. And as you can see, we're basically making a cross shape, and that's why it's called cross multiplication. Then for the last step, depending on whether the number is a large two-digit or small two-digit. If it's small, then we have to just multiply the tens of the top times the tens of the bottom to get the hundreds, or else if it's a high number like 73 times 81, then we can get our thousands answer. And that's basically it. That's what we have to multiply, and those are our sets, and do draw this too because it'll be very useful. Now let's do the same steps but with the actual numbers. And also if there are numbers to be carried over, then we can surely do that too. So first step, units times units. What are the units in those numbers? They are 3 and 8, right? So what's 3 times 8? Previously, when we did it, we got the answer of 24. So basically, when we write the 24, we don't just write the whole number 24. So first, we'll write the number 4 underneath the 8. And then next to the 4, underneath the 4 of the 48, we'll write a very small 2. So when we do our next number, whatever number we times those number to get our tens, we carry forward it, we add it to the little 2. So now, what do we have to do to get our tens number? We have to do the cross, right? The cross, as you can see in the second set. So first, let's times 6 by 8, and we get the answer of 48. And then we have to do 3 times 4 to get 24. And then once we get those numbers, we have to add 48 to 12. So now moving to the second step to get our tens, we have to do 6 times 8 and 4 times 3. 6 times 8 is 48 and 4 times 3 is 12. What do we have to do? We have to add them. So 48 plus 12 equals 60. Now as we have that little 2, don't worry about it. So 60. So let's write the number 60 first to make it more simple. So we write 60. What's 60 plus 2? Because we have the little 2 there, right? So 60 plus 2 is 62. So underneath that small 2, we can write a big 2. We can write a big 2 and rub that little one out. And once we do that, so we write the 2. But as there is 6, we have to carry that over now. And write a little 6 like we did with the 2. And there we have it, 62. Then for the last step, we have to do to get our hundreds or our thousands, depending on whether it's the big 2-digit numbers or the small ones. And it's simply the 10 times 10s of the bottom and top number. So 6 times 4 is 24, right? But what's 24 plus 6? That is 30. And now that we got it, we do not have to carry forward over the 3 because those are the only numbers remaining to times. So then we can rub that little 6 out and write the full number 30. And boom, there we have it, 3024. That's exactly what we got for the area modeling. So you see guys, this multiplication trick is very useful and you can use different variations of multiplication and trial and error them out but still get the same answer. And just in case guys, I just wanted to mention that if you weren't quite sure of this cross multiplication, because as you can see there was a lot of working out, please make sure to go back through the video of this cross multiplication, and if you didn't understand any steps, make sure to revise them again, and also get some pen and paper and write them down, all these steps that we did, so when we multiply, it'll be easy. And that's what cross multiplication is. So the next type of multiplication, guys, that I will be showing you is going to be called up and down multiplication. Up and down multiplication is similar to cross multiplication, but except we'll be doing it sideways and going from left to right, not right to left. Because in cross multiplication, we went to right to left. And in this one too, we can also draw dots as a diagram to see what we're going to be multiplying. So let's take the same number, 63 times 48, because as I mentioned earlier, we'll use the same numbers but in different variations of multiplication. So let's draw the diagram. So 2 dots, which will represent the number 63, times 2 dots, which will represent the number 48. And those dots are the numerals. So tens in units times tens in units. So for the first step to get our answer going from left to right, to get our answer for the lefty, we have to times the 10, we have to times tens by tens. So that's our first step. Then the second step is units of 63 times tens of 48. Then for the second part, we have to do the tens digit of the 63 times the units digit of 48, aka 6 times 48. And that's our third step of the second part. Then for the third part, all we have to do is the units number of 63 times the units number of 48, and boom, there we go, that's our answer. And again, if there are any numbers to carry forward, we can carry forward them over indeed. So let's start off. So 6 times 4 is 24, right? So 6 and 4, 10 times 10, that is 24. We can write it below. Then, for the second and third part of the second part, to get our hundredths part, is going to be units times 10, so 6 times 4, and then the tens times the units, and that is 6 times 8. So we'll just write here the equation, and then we have to add those numbers up that we multiplied. So 3 times 4 is 12, And 6 times 8 is 48. We have to add them up, and boom, we get a total of 60. So we have 60, right? 0 is the whole number that we have to write, but 6 is the number that has to be carried forward. So what is 24 plus 6? That's 30, right? So we can cancel out the 24 over there, and we can write 30, because 24 plus 6 is 30. And then as there is a 0 after the number 6, when we added 12 and 48, we can write that next to the 30. So we get a number of 300. Then last but not least, the last step of the third part is to multiply the units by the units. So units of 63 times units of 48, aka 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is 24. But the 2, we have to carry that over. And for the second 0 in 300, so the last one, we have to add that by 2. And then 4, we can write that as the whole number. So then we get a total of 3024. And then boom, that is our answer yet again. We got the same answer in 3 ways of the different multiplications: area modeling, cross multiplication, and up and down multiplication. So you see, guys, even though we did different multiplications and tried it out with the different variation of multiplication, we could still get the same answer. And again, out of these 3, use the ones that you feel that you understand the most. And there we go, that's up and down multiplication. Thank you everybody so much for watching this amazing maths video that we prepared. Hopefully you found those tricks amazing, the 3 ones that I taught. And again, you don't have to do all 3. Do whichever one you feel that you understand more, and then use it most of the time, because it'll make your maths more quicker. And also, please don't forget to follow our Instagram page, because we do post stuff up there of what we do regularly. And also, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And when you subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get a notification when our videos are posted out on YouTube. Have a great time and see you all in the next video. Bye!